It's not only special people. You can literally do this, but it's a matter of these in music while you do this, but the specific technique that you can use to literally switch your realities. Okay, listen, I need to get a little close for this. Okay. You have the opportunity to change your life every single day. This is the honest truth. You can change whatever's happening within your reality every single day. Over time, what I have experienced, it's called shifting, by the way, like quantum shifting, whatever you want to call it, shifting or quantum shifting realities. You have that opportunity to change that every single day. The reason why is because whenever you go to sleep and you wake up the next day, all it takes is for one decision to be made to literally just decide to leave everything in the past. Somewhere in this video, I'm gonna go in depth and detail about the specific technique that you can use to literally switch your realities, to change the circumstances overnight. Somewhere in this video, but stay tuned. Every day you have the opportunity to leave the old version of yourself behind. Every single day you have the opportunity to have a new experience. Whenever you are making certain type of changes in your life, you cannot bring the old version of yourself into that new version. It's not going to be able to exist at the same time. So let's just say if you're a person that has already found out about all this, like within your journey, and you have attempted it over time, and you just feel like certain things haven't been changing and your reality is still literally the same. Say if you feel stagnant. Sometimes what's going on is because you are trying to take the old version of yourself to this certain type of reality, whatever reality that you are envisioning in your mind, that you are capable of seeing in your head. You're still doing things within the physical that align with that old version of yourself while you are attempting to move into that reality, and it's just not going to work. So that's what ends up happening, that leaves you stagnant and still in the same place. That identity, that self-concept, that state of being that is aligned with that old version of yourself in the old situations, like that particular person, just speaking in the sense of that old version of yourself that still believes this is supposed to be like this, that still practices the same type of things that you were practicing around that time as well, still validating certain types of belief systems as well. If you're watching a video like this, I'm pretty sure you already know about energy. So what ends up happening is you are at a certain energetic level because of, again, the belief systems that you have, the way that you think, the way that you see the world, the way that you see things, the practices that you have with yourself, things I've already said, right? You know, everything overall that you are still identifying with, that is at a certain level energetically. To attempt to go to this higher version of yourself, that is also at an energetic level as well, but it's two different energetic levels. So to take all of this and to attempt to move it into that new version of yourself, obviously I'm saying that that's something that's not gonna work, because it is two different, these are things that are existing at two different frequencies, two different energetic levels, you know, and that's what's gonna keep you in that same level by attempting to bring all those old things to this new version of yourself. You have access to a lot of different realities. There's a lot of people that already know that. Overall, whenever you look at how a lot of this is like a huge like paradox, like a lot of different things, it's somewhat like too much for like the human mind to comprehend exactly how it works, in the sense of how one is existing at the same time as the other, if that makes sense. One thing that is understood and that you should comprehend is that you have access to the abundance. You have access to the different realities that exist through, you know, adapting, changing your mind, changing your awareness, becoming more aware, learning things, having realization, self-realization, and continuing to elevate yourself. Expanding your level of understanding and stepping into that reality. By consciously making the choice through your decision making, again, through changing your mind, changing your perspective, changing your understanding, changing the way that you perceive things, you make that choice to decide to experience the reality that you desire. There's nothing that you have to be more of, and there's nothing that you have to be less of in order to get the things that are rightfully yours. You have a choice. You can choose to be, feel, act like something different in your current reality, to experience a different reality. The circumstances and limitations within your reality are being fed by yourself, the way that you give it attention. I know that you've heard this before. Where attention goes, energy flows. Like, I'm sure that you've heard that before. And all that means is if you focus on something, for example, like those negative beliefs, self-concepts, thoughts, all of that within your mind, if you focus your energy on that, that is going to grow and show up more within your reality. That is how it works here. You know, if you remove that and leave that all in the past, you let that version of yourself go, you will be able to move forward. As you make decisions and as you make choices, shifts are happening within that moment. It's not like how it is like in the movies. I think I'm like laughing right now because like thinking about this, like when I first was experiencing this and like I sat and I thought about it, I was like, you know, I've seen this in movies, but the way that it's portrayed in movies is not how it actually happens within real life. Like in the movies, I feel like there's always some type of like, if you've ever seen the movie Jumper or like The Girl That Leapt Through Time, it's like some type of spark or something or light, and then they like go through it or something. But really it's like, it's something slight. It's like thin. Like it's like it passes real thin. Like, and it happens so many different times. And then when you get to the, like, let's just say like the end of that shift, like multiple different things happen in this time frame, and the overall shift for that section is done, you'll like look at that and you'll realize, you're like, whoa, hold on. And like, say if you like revisit certain things from that past reality, obviously it still exists, but you can feel the difference. That's how I would describe it. I can like make a completely separate video going more into like a personal experience to see if that would make more sense with this. But the decisions that you make and the choices that you make, literally shifts are happening simultaneously, which is why it's so important that you come to this understanding. This is not, I always say this in my videos, it's not a specific person, it's not only special people. You can literally do this, but it's a matter of you having that understanding that you can do that and figure out what you need to do in order to do that, you know, and to make that decision for yourself. Another thing is, if you haven't changed anything, if you haven't made certain types of choices that have already, you know, changed certain things within your reality, and I've said this in the beginning of the video, you know, you might notice that certain things don't change and that you're stagnant. It's like you cannot take the old version and expect for the new version to be there. That's literally a part of it. Once you start getting in the habit of making those hard choices, I'll give you an example right now. So I, in the past, had let someone borrow about $4,000, right? And, you know, I was the type of person where, like, even now I'm still like that, where like if I allow somebody to borrow money, I still have that understanding that there might be a chance that I might not receive that back. But at the same time, it's like, I'm still going to attempt to get that money back, right? And this person dragged it out like for a really long time, you know, as far as like the time frame within them paying me back. And, you know, I was noticing what was happening in my life, you know, different complications was happening while I was already dealing with that. And, you know, certain changes, I started to make certain changes, and then my reality started to change, but that was the last thing that I was still dealing with. I was still holding on to the fact that this person owed me a certain amount of money. And once I let go of that, you know, everything started to change. And it's like, from outside perspectives, it's like I can understand, like, how could you just like let go of that? Like, you know, they still owed you a certain amount of money, you know. But it's like when you hold on to certain things, especially if it's out of your control, like you're holding on to that reality. You're keeping that reality. Like, that's what's gonna happen. But as soon as I let go of that, like everything else started to change, and, you know, I got everything that I wanted. So just telling that. And it wasn't very specific because, well, I can tell in the next video, like when I go more into the quantum shifting or the whole paradox about everything, you know, I can go more into that. So something that you can do, this is the technique that I was talking about, where if you do this, change something completely overnight, a circumstance. So whenever you prepare to go to sleep, let's say throughout the day, say if you got in an argument with someone, say if someone hit your car, or say that you're just dealing with some very like things that you could perceive as like very negative that's happening right there. You don't want to go to sleep thinking about those types of things and replaying everything in your mind and reaffirming all of those things. And even though they happened within that, it's like, and this is not to say ignore your responsibilities and to ignore your problems, but the thing is whenever you are shifting, like I said, depending on what it is, obviously use your discernment, but you don't want to go to bed thinking about the negative things constantly. For example, like the argument thing. You don't want to go to sleep thinking about the argument and speaking bad on whoever it was that you had an argument about and just like complaining and then like going to sleep with that. What you want to do is completely wipe that away, completely let go of that as you're going to sleep, and think about the reality. Think about the reality that you want. Think about the experience that you want and envision that experience that you want. Imagine that experience that you want as you're going to sleep. And something like subliminals can help. And then there's some people who don't listen to sounds. I also don't listen to sounds, like I feel like, because I'm at the point where it's like I can just literally just see it. But you can use subliminals, you can use different sounds, frequencies, and music while you do this. But imagine it like, say if you get yourself in that like very relaxed state before you go to sleep, like that drowsy state, because that is the easiest time to reprogram your subconscious mind. I'm pretty sure that it's called the theta state. I'm not sure if that's just the state that happens whenever you wake up, but I'm pretty sure it's whenever you are about to go to sleep, that's the state that you enter, and whenever you're when you first wake up, that's the state that your mind is in, the theta state. That is the state that you want to get your body into so that you can begin to reprogram your subconscious mind. So even if you just had an argument or whatever, the thing that you got to realize is regardless of any of this stuff, there's always going to be positive and negative things that happen, but you can make the choice on what you want to feed your mind, the things that you want to view, the things that you want to listen to, the things that you want to practice. It is all about what you do for yourself in the sense of what state you want to put your body in and what type of experience you want to have in life. There's nothing that's going to stop positive and negative things from happening. That is always going to exist. It is a matter about how your reaction to them and how you decide to respond to them. Just observe them, So you get yourself in that theta state, and that's when you want to imagine, again, the reality that you want. Imagine the experience that you want, the life that you want. Imagine how that would feel, and that's what you want to embody as you go to sleep. And whenever you wake up, you want to do the same thing. If you resonated with anything I spoke about in this video, consider liking, subscribing, and sharing so that this video reaches someone who may also need to hear this message. Thank you and bye.